All right, I think we can start with our webinar. It's sharp 5. So good evening, all of you, and a very warm welcome to all of you to another very informative session on Shiksha. So I am Bhagyashree Gupta, your moderator for this session. Let me first introduce to you the topic. The topic for today's session is all you need to know about Delhi Judicial Services Examination and Preparation Tips. And with us today, we have a very eminent panelist, Ms. Shreya Sharma, LLB, LLM. So, ma'am, firstly, I'd like to welcome you to our session. And just a second, ma'am, just unmute you. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Very good evening to all of you. And as Bhagyashree introduced me, that my name is Shreya Sharma, and I have done LLM in criminology. So here I am to speak about this DJS.
Right. So, ma'am, as we discussed, we'll be starting off this webinar for the first 30 minutes. We'll be having a basic discussion on the exam, the syllabus, and all the subtopics that we had in mind. And post that, the last 30 minutes will be dedicating to all the queries coming in from the students, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's just start off with, ma'am, what exactly is Delhi Judicial Examination? Firstly, we want to know that.
Okay, so various states, they conduct this different judicial service examination. Basically, it's an examination being conducted by respective states' high courts to recruit this civil judge junior divisions. It's a basic recruitment of judges at judiciary, lower level.
Right. Okay. And coming to the very important question, like what makes it different, particularly this Delhi judicial examination, what makes it different from other states judicial examination? Because as we have done a webinar before and we came to know that different states have this examination. So ma'am, what makes this different from other states?
Okay, so while every state has their own unique pattern to conduct this examination, so when it comes to Delhi Judicial Services, here this exam is quite different in the way it conducts its exam. It's like this is very conceptual. Its difficulty level is quite quite difficult from rest of the states examinations. So in terms of difficulty level, I can say it's different from rest.
Sorry. Okay. So moving to some other very important questions related to this. Of course, students will definitely want to know, ma'am, what is the selection procedure? Because we know judicial exams are not easy at all. They are, I think, one of the toughest exams here. So what is the selection procedure?
See, well, I would like to say this one thing. Yeah, I do believe that this examination is tough, but if you believe in yourself and you feel like that you can crack, then it's not that difficult. So when it comes to the selection process, it's a 3-tier selection process. First is preliminary exam, followed by means, and then interview. So preliminary is a screening test. Therein you have to qualify, and minimum you have to secure 60% marks to qualify the exam. And then post that means and this interview. So this is a 3-level exam.
Right. Great. So I think now students are a bit clear about like what exactly the entire procedure goes into. And ma'am, if you talk about Delhi judicial examination is it's not the normal law exam that students know about. So what makes it a bit notch higher and a bit different, from other law exams that they know about usually?
Actually, see, when it comes to DJF, herein, whatever the paper will be, they'll ask you highly conceptual things. Like if you're appearing in DJs, they expect you to do the entire law at very, you should be well versed with the laws. Even you should be well versed with the Bear Acts, their concepts, and everything therein. The way it is different is ki, you can't say that ki, okay fine, this provision stands for this. You can't go for straight questions there. You should know the law as well as the implications of the law. Only then you will be able to qualify the exam.
Right, absolutely.
Every provision has their rationals behind it, right? So when it comes to bare provisions, therein you have certain provisions. You can go through the provisions, you know what exactly provisions is all about. So when it comes to DJs, they're not going to ask you which section stands for what. They'll ask you what is the rationale behind this section, what the implication of the sections. So you should be very good at law. You should be very good at the implication of that law. Somewhat, it also includes interpretations.
Right, right, absolutely. So I'll just quickly move to some other questions. Like another very important question that definitely students have is eligibility criteria. What makes them eligible that yes, I can sit for the exam, I can prepare for the exams? There has to be some minimum criteria for that.
Yeah, well, first two basic criteria is you should be citizen of India, and second thing is that yeah, you should be, you know, a law graduate. So when it comes to DJS, minimum eligibility criteria is minimum you should be 21 year of age and maximum you should be 32. But as a this recent amendment, initially it was like you should be 32 from the respective, right from the year in which they have released the notification. But as of now, you should be 32 right from the 1st January of the respective year in which they have released the notification. So this is all you have to be.
Right. If we talk about, the future or the scope, like what after this exam now, what they can look up to, like after they have appeared for the exam, what are the posts they usually get, because students usually have a lot of questions regarding that, okay, can I be a Supreme Court judge? Okay, can I be a civil judge? So please clarify those things to them.
See, there are two-level direct recruitments in this examination. First is this lower judiciary, and the second one is this higher judiciary. For that purpose, the minimum eligibility criteria is 35 year of age, and then after that, it's a nomination. Like there, you can be after ADJ, you can appointed as a higher court judge, and then Supreme Court judge, and then maybe fortunately Chief Justice of India as well. This is a hierarchy.
Right. So I think once they are doing this, so they have a chance of moving upwards.
Yeah, for sure. Like once you get into this lower judiciary, you have to appear again for the examination for this ADJ selection, right? So that these two are direct recruitments. And after that, there is no exam. Then you have to promote. You will be promoted.
Right.
Like
Okay.
session, then high court, then Supreme Court, like this.
Okay. Coming to the syllabus, and of course, ma'am, you did mention about the recent amendments which were made in the syllabus. So firstly, we'd like to know what exactly is the syllabus for preparing for this particular exam and what were the recent amendments?
Okay, so when it comes to we have this 5 major laws: the CPC, CRPC, IPC, evidence, and this constitution contracts, and then this LLP, Limited Liability Partnership Act, and POXO, and this Commercial Courts Act. So recently, the major amendment is they have added. Initially, they used to ask this English and this GS in static plus current. But now they have added this legal GS. Therein, you need not to go for the general studies portion. You need not to study history, geography, polity, all these things. But you should stick to this legal GS. Now this have two parts. First of all, the static legal GS, wherein you should be knowing the major like amendments, major bills, everything includes that current legal GS. And static is like who is the first Chief Justice of India. Like this, we have the static legal. Everything you need to know about this legal GS is about law only. So it's a very good thing, I should say, because students have to deal with that bulky syllabus. So by introducing this legal GS, they have created an ease for the students wherein they can stick to the law and they'll be well versed. In that case, every day, maybe once a day, we'll go to this live law, and this many platforms are there from which we'll get recent judgments and all. So this also helped the student to reach their answers. So basic major amendment is this key. They have added this legal GS, and in law they have added three minor laws: this POXO, LLP, and this Commercial Courts Act. That's it.
Right. So I think this was all about the syllabus and ma'am, like talking about the difficulty level of the exam, like how difficult this exam possibly be someone who has like never done a law thing before and wants to sit for the exam and wants to prepare for the exam. So for them, how difficult? I mean, after doing the basic law course, when they are applying sitting for this exam, how much difficulty does student face,
You
for
mean to say that a student is appearing for this DJs right after this clearing LLB, not after preparation?
no, not after preparation.
Okay, so see, when it comes to DAs, personally, I don't feel it's a difficult exam because, DGS, the demand of DGS is applied question, application based question. So if you have done your law very well, you know the law. So basic requirement, you should be well versed with the law. So what you need to do, you have a format for the every answers that you do, that you have to write in mains, right? So what you need to do, you have to read the question once, twice, thrice. If you once get the approach of the question, you have to put the things in that format and that's it. So it's a thought of the students that it's a difficult exam. Rather, I should say, you do good at your law. You should be very good at your law. Read the law twice, thrice, read the bare acts, and try to understand how to write the answers, like how to interrelate the sections, how to interrelate the bare acts and the subjects. So once you're done with that, it's not a difficult exam.
Since you also mentioned about like after preparation, so what differences does it make? I mean, for a student, who will be sitting for this after preparation, so what kind of differences it makes? Ma'am, I think you are not audible. Just a second. Yes.
Am I
Yes.
audible now? I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
So when we are in college days, see, in our college, we don't go for bare acts much. The main basic thing to be a judicial aspirant is you should know how to read the laws, like how to read the bare acts. So student in college, they doesn't know well how to deal with the bare acts, how to read the bare acts. So this is the major difference. When student appear for an exam before preparation and after preparation, when you get into the preparation of judicial services, so therein you learn how to read the bare acts, how to appreciate the bare acts, how to you should develop your writing skills, how to appear in the mains, how to appear in the pre. We have different skills, right, that we need to develop for appearing in exams. Like you have that bulky paper in mains that you have to attempt the entire paper in those 3 hours. Therein you have to maintain the quality of your answers as well. You have to maintain the speeds as well. You should be knowing what to put in the answers. When it comes to pre, you should be knowing what is the elimination skills, like how to attempt the pre, you know uh, what are the major areas. So when a student is in law, when we are in our law school, everything is very important to us, we read everything, right? But when it's come to specifically judicial service examination, there are certain areas which is relevant for mains and everything is relevant for pre, but there is approach towards every exam, right? So that strategy, that approach, that the way to deal with the laws, you come to know with the preparation only. And majorly, I believe appreciation of law, appreciation of bare acts, it's very important.
I totally agree to that, ma'am. So coming to after like the difficulty level we have known, I guess there are different preparation stages, ma'am, for this exam. So what are those different preparation stages, and like what is the best time for students to prepare for this exam?
Okay, so best time to start is right from the moment you have this thought that you want to be a judge. I should say this. See, when it comes to judicial services, it's very unpredictable. There is no certain calendar and certain dates wherein we can say, okay, fine, we have this particular time and we can have our strategy. So I would suggest keep right from the moment you feel like you want to be a judge, start preparing. Minimum, you need a year to prepare for this exam. Once you have to so for example, if you have 18 laws for a specific subjects you are targeting, right? So for that purpose you have to be go through that subjects, for all the subjects twice, thrice. You have to read all the barracks minimum 3 times before you appear in the exam. Then every single day you should practice your pre and mains. Mains is very, very subjective. Like you can't develop your writing skills in a single day, right? So right from the beginning, you should write your mains. At least you should write a single mains answer in a day. Gradually, you develop your writing skills. And when it comes to pre, you should solve your minimum 50 to 100 questions in a day. Even for the beginners, I would suggest they should, solve 50 questions. What happen is when you read the BRX and when you read the books, notes, whatever source you are having, these source will give you 70% of your preparation because you're reading something, right? But what is the implication, how much you're getting? You don't know that. So when you solve the question, specifically when you solve the pre, 30% of the content you get from there. There are many questions, they are not straight. They are, say for example, legal maxims are there, amendments are there, right? So all these things you come to know from solving the pre. And same with mains as well. When we are in a law college now, we end up writing those bulky answers in, urge of getting good marks. So but when it comes to this judicial service examination, then you have to be very specific with the answers. That too, you have to very to the point. You have to mention case law in that. You have to, mention introduction, conclusion, body part, and then in that you have to mention case law, provisions, ingredients. So all these things are skills. In if you have to, if you are getting 3 marker, 5 marker, 6 marker answer, then you have to mention the entire thing. So it's a skill that will be developed gradually. So this how a student prepare herself or himself for this examination. So initially it takes 6 to 7 months to go through the entire laws, and then gradually when the notification comes, you should start solving the pre. Before you appear for the pre, your means should be ready. You can't say, you can't feel like, okay, fine, once I'll clear the pre, then I'll go for the means. This should not be the strategy. You won't be able to qualify the exam. You should be clear, you should be well versed, you should be prepared for your mains before pre. And the once you get the notification, right, start preparing for the pre. Like at that point of time, you should be solving, minimum 3, 4, 500 questions in a day. Even for the beginners, I would suggest this. So this is how one should go for the exam. And it also depends on the skills and, grasping power of students as well. There are certain students who can prepare this exam within 6, 7 months. So it all depends on your strategy. The basic thing is that you should be doing your law 3 times, 4 times. You should be very well revised with the laws, specifically for DJS.
Right. Thank you, ma'am, for that answer. And coming to, the entire preparation time that, a particular student needs to dedicate himself or herself for this exam, like what is that preparation time?
You mean to study hours?
Yes, could be the study hours, or how much time, I would say the study plan, in fact, the entire study plan.
See, everyone, I would say everyone is different. See, it's very subjective. It differs. So there are certain students who are in habit of writing the things. They can't memorize and recall the things unless they ended up writing the things, right? So it's very subjective. Basic things that I can say is minimum you should study 4, 5 hours a day, but that should be quality study. If you are studying, if you're doing your bare acts, if you're doing your means, if you're doing whatever you are doing, right? So it should be very, very quality. It's like you should be very focused at that point of time. Whatever you are reading, complete the entire topic in a one go. Like it should not be, okay, fine, I'm done with this thing. Rest of the thing I'll do tomorrow. It should not be like this, because law is very, conceptual thing. When you are forming your basis, when you are, dealing with a thing with the very initial level, you should be very clear with the things. So all I can say this, whatever you read, be perfect in that, but clear all your doubts, be very good at your concepts, know what is the implication of law. But rest, I can say, when it comes to study hours, this individually student has to decide. Minimum 5, 4 hours is there, but it depends on the skills of the student.
I totally agree that it depends individually for every student.
Yeah.
Some might like to sit for like a 7 to 8 hours, and some would
Yeah.
like to like just an hour a day. Right. So,
Whatever
okay.
be the study hours, it should be very quality hours. This is very, very important. Like if you are studying, you should not, your focus should be in study only.
Right. So, ma'am, talking about, help material, resource material, are there any online and offline resources available for students to help them
Yeah,
prepare?
many. See, these days after post-COVID, everything is available online. Even classes, coachings are also available online. But when it comes to judiciary, a student who can't afford this academics, this academy and all, even they can prepare well for judiciary. There are various platforms, there are various books you can refer. And even, this pre-mains, we have many platforms like an academy and all from where they can prepare. They'll teach you how to solve the pre, how to write the mains, and there are various books as well. Specific subject books, reference books are there. There are prepared notes are there. Even in various social platforms like Instagram and all, there are pages they are providing you with law notes and all. So it's very easily available. It depends. When it comes to judiciary, you should be very, at the first instance, you should be clear at what state you are targeting. You can't target all the states in the very first go, because every state has their own specific approach. So you should a student has to be clear which state he or she is targeting for, and then according to that, you should be well versed, you should be well revised, you should be knowing the entire syllabus, you should understand the approach of the exam, and accordingly you should go for the preparation.
Yes, I agree to that, and thank you, ma'am, for that answers. Ma'am, would you like to suggest any particular book you might remember that that student can take help of?
Yeah, see, when it comes to major laws, that for CPC, there is CK Takwani. Then for civil, this CRPC, it's Kelkar. For this constitution is DK Jan. And for this evidence, it's Batuklal, Munir. These two books are good. And when it comes to preparation, and for every minor laws, I would suggest it's just go for the bare axe. If you're good at bare axe, then there is no need of reference book. You can have various notes as well. Prepared notes you'll get from the market, like online platform. So it's more than enough. But for major laws, of course, you should go for. Matlab, for this IPC, you can Ratan Lal Dheeraj. Like, it's a very good book for Indian Penal Code. So these are the certain major laws that you for that purpose you can refer this reference books. And apart from that, for there are singles, this previous year question papers, unsolved books. Therein you'll get the previous year papers of all the states. You have to, a student must, I should say, solve this before appearing in the exam. And this for DJS, this Vinay Kumar Gupta Universal, it's a very, very good book. This contain this DJS level questions. So these are certain books one can refer.
So I think all the students have made a good note. You have heard the names what ma'am has told. So please make a good note and get yourself those resource material, because I know I could see a lot of questions coming around about the resources. So please do get hold of these books, and you need to really start prepare doing this. Okay. All right. So ma'am, coming to mock preparations, we have seen students really prefer doing mock preparations and previous year's question papers. So is there something like that also available for DJs?
Yeah, see, there are various academies. Like even now, they are providing this online platform for conducting this mock test for pre-mains and interview even. So there are various academies like Rahul's, there's Carrot Laws Academy. Many academies are there. So you can go or you can take help of those academies. And if it's not possible, then there are various platforms they're providing you for this mock test series only. Those are only online platforms. You can go for that. And if not, then there are these books.
Mm-hmm.
You can go, student can refer these books as well. Therein they have provided the answer, but do not rely entirely on the answers being provided in the books. I would suggest go and always cross check the answers. So this is
Right.
how yeah, one can appear and one can practice.
Right. So I think there are a lot of resources and a lot of mock
Yeah,
papers.
there are a lot of resources. Like when it comes to resources, one should be, limited with the content. I should suggest. Do not go for so many books, so many resources. In that case, you will be end up creating mess in your brain. I would suggest go for single book. Say for example, like if you are appearing for DJS, like if you are solving this Vinay Kumar Gupta, then just solve this 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But you should stick to that. If you're solving solve as much question as you can. But when it comes to your reading content, it should be very limited. If you're referring a single book, refer that particular book only. Don't go for many books. Go for a single book, read it repeatedly so that you will be good at your concepts. Don't go for many books. I would not suggest that.
Right, absolutely. And, ma'am, talking about some very basic questions, that students have, given up before registering for these exams is they want to know about the fee structure. I mean, if they're preparing and they want to sit for the exam, what exactly is the fee structure? And, what are the places, or I would say the institutes or colleges where they can, apply and prepare for these exams?
Okay, so it's not certain. I can't say I can't give you a specific fee structure for anything, but yes, minimum it is when it comes to Delhi, or many institutions is being providing this judicial service preparation in Delhi and across the globe. Minimum it starts from 80,000, 90,000, 50,000 to 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh. These are the fee structure. But I would suggest, and yeah, there are various academies, Carrot Laws academies there. Rouse is there. There are many academies, many platforms that is being providing this services online as well. So fee structure is very different for every academy. I can't give you a specific amount for that. But I can
Correct.
say that one thing key, it depends. Like a student can prepare from this lowest grade to a highest grade. It depends on the student.
If I come to the key points, the key highlights that a student needs to, keep in his mind when he's preparing for it, for his this particular exam. So, what according to you, ma'am, should be those important topics or highlights that he has to remember?
Okay, so when it comes to DGS, first of all, you should be very good at bare X. When it comes to bare act, you should be knowing the meaning of each and every punctuation being provided in the provisions. Like if there is a comma, if there is and, if there is or and comma. So what is the meaning of that punctuation? Because when in the exam, they will frame a question over those punctuation as well. Because when it comes to bare act interpretation, every single punctuation changes the meaning of the provision. So it should not be the bare reading. It should be, you should know the rationale behind the provisions, what exactly that particular respective provision is talking about. So first thing is that. Second thing is you should be, you should go with the barracks 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. It minimum you should give 3 readings. Third important thing is practice. Whether it be pre or means, you should practice, keep on practicing. As I have said earlier as well, you don't go for many resources, don't go for different sources and contents. Go for single content, go for limited books, go for limited notes, have your own notes, but be good at it. It should be on your tips, whether it be CRPC or CPC or any law or a minor law. And I would like to add one more thing. So when it comes to minor laws, now those are small laws, so you can be very good at that. You can grab good marks on it. So these are few things you should be keep in your mind. Rest, it's normal exam. If you have done lots of practice, if you're good at law, then no one can stop you to be a judge.
Ma'am, also, I just like to add certain things. There are a lot of students who, want to prepare this exam along with the college studies also. So, what kind of balance, do they need to maintain while they're preparing for the college studies and also preparing for this?
See, in that case, there is a blend of people. So there are certain group of people or students, I should say, who wants to prepare right from the beginning. Whether if a student is from this BA LLB, so therein it's a 5-year course, right? So I will say when you get into this law portion, like after 2 years, when you start reading your laws, so just read those law in a depth. It's a very good thing, I should say, कि you are preparing right from the law time. So just whatever subject you are reading, whether it contracts or any major laws or even a minor law, try to read the BRX right from your graduation level. right from your LLB level, so that you will be knowing what exactly this, how to appreciate the laws, and you will be very good at laws in that case. Because when it comes to preparation, you have to read the entire 3 or 5 year subjects in this 1 year only. So whatever you are reading in your law, in your graduation time, read from the perspective of competitors. Like, for example, don't go for those 2020 wala books wherein you have to read this minimum topics and you'll clear the exam. I would suggest read the books more and more you can. If you're referring a single book, read that book twice, thrice, so that you will be very good at your concepts. This is how you can prepare right from the law. And if you do in this way, in the very first go, you'll qualify the exam.
Right. Ma'am, also another very common question that I see is there something like, they can go, they have a number of attempts they can go for it, like once or twice or thrice. So what is that maximum number of attempts?
Not in every judicial services. Like in UP, we have 4 attempts, right? 6 attempts, but not in everywhere. But majorly in judicial service examination, we don't have attempts. But in UP only. So there is no bar of attempts as if now.
Okay. So also, ma'am, since this is all state-based examinations, so language plays a very important role here.
Of course. See, when it comes to this northeastern states, herein it's not a problem. Say, for example, when it comes to DJs, herein students should be good at English as well, which is not so criteria in rest of the examination. When it comes to UP, if you're not very good at English, you will be able to qualify this UP judiciary, even likewise in Uttarakhand judiciary as well. But when it comes to these South Indian states like Orissa and all, and other states, they're in specific state requires their own language. If you go for Maharashtra, then they require their own language. If you go rest of the states, but not so in these northeastern states. So it's a bar. Yes, of course it is. Like for Rajasthan, you can appear in exam the way, in the mode in which you want, but it asks for Hindi as well. You should be good at Hindi. There is a specific paper of Hindi in RJS, as we have the specific paper of English in this DJS. So of course it favors, as you told, na, this is a state exam. So obviously state will, favor their own students. This is how it works. Yeah.
Okay. So before we move to questions from students, because I see they're getting impatient and they really want answers to their questions. So I am just raising a poll before we start off with all your questions coming in flow. So I'm just sharing a poll on your screen right now. So I would want all of you, please do fill up this feedback poll, and then we jump on. This is for all the students who have been participating here for this webinar. And please do not worry. And I also like to answer, this is not a recorded video. We're doing this live. So we will be taking up your questions. Shreya ma'am is here. So this next 30 minutes, we'll be dedicating to all your queries. So please be patient, and definitely, ma'am, we'll try to take as many questions we can. We'll try to solve your queries and we'll help you out the maximum I think ma'am can, because she has already explained a lot of important information regarding this examination. We'll also get to know a bit of her experience also. So please fill up this form, and then we move on to your queries, because I see a lot of queries coming in. So yes, definitely. I'm going to take all your queries. The maximum I would want to take with ma'am and get hold of all the answers, because she is here as an expert and I think she is really helping out with all the things. So yes, please be here, and please, if you have any more queries, just drop in my Q&A section. I could see questions coming in, so start pouring here and not in the chat session. Yes, so please do not pour in the chat session. I just want it here in the Q&A session, and we could go ahead with all your queries. We'll definitely take all your queries. I did take few questions from the registration questions that was here from students. So I will try my best to take all your queries, right? Okay. All right, just a second. Before we move on to the queries, so I'll just like to request all of you, if you're done with the polling thing, I'll like quickly go to the question section, and this next 30 minutes will be dedicatedly doing all the questions that you have thrown here. So don't worry, we'll try to take as many questions I can. Okay. Okay. So I think we're done with the poll thing, and we can actually, ma'am, now move to our question answer session. And I know they're eagerly waiting to get hold of all the answers. Okay, I'll just close this off so that we can have our Q&A session. Just give me a moment, guys. Okay, so moving on to the question in session. Okay, I see a lot of questions. Okay, I'm taking the first question, ma'am. This comes, can a BCom student give this exam? So I know a lot of them want to know this.
No, the basic eligibility criteria should be a law graduate.
Okay, so preparation, dear, we are already discussing that. Okay, I got this question from Neha Shinde.
Okay.
And she says, I completed MBA HR in 2019. Can I write this exam directly?
No, you should be a law graduate.
Okay, coming to the other questions, online and offline resources, we have already discussed this. Okay, so I'm getting another question. My age is 38. I'm entering into second year LLB in IIT Kharagpur. Am I eligible for preparing judicial exam? Please help
Not
me.
for all the states, but yes, for few. Not really, but few. Like there are certain states whose maximum age is 40. So for those, yes, you can. But you will get a single attempt. If fortunate, you'll get the notification.
Okay. Okay. So I'll move to some other question. Okay. So another question comes, should we start preparing after 12th standard?
Yes, you can. It depends on you. You can start preparing right from the 10th standard as well. It depends on the students, I said.
Okay. Ma'am, LLB third year student, can they apply for this exam?
Not for all the, only for RJS. RJS is the state which allows final year appearing student to appear in the exam. The only state.
Okay. So I see another question, ma'am. I'm in standard 12, preparing for boards. I have filled CLAT and AILET form, which are to be held in June. Please tell me, how should I prepare in just 2 months?
For what? Like for CLAT?
I think he or she will be sitting for CLAT and IELTS for both.
Okay. So for CLAT, it's entirely different from this judiciary. Therein you have to be very good at research as well. Like you should be good at international laws and this constitution, polity portion, and family laws as well. And this CLAT has introduced this one more thing. They have introduced the descriptive paper as well. So I should say for that purpose, go with the laws, like go with constitution, international law, jurisprudence, case laws, you have to deal majorly. And therein you have to be good at this interpretation part. It's more of researching than this substantive and conceptual thing.
Right. Okay. I think that answers. Okay. Someone wants to know strategy for UP Judicial Service.
Okay. So, well, yes, UP is upcoming exam. UP Judicial Service, this paper includes GS as well and plays a very, very important role in UP. So what you need to do right from the day when you start preparing for UP, along with the laws, like therein for pre, we have this major laws followed by contracts. So go with the laws and along with that, go with GS as well. You have a specific paper for GS in the pre as well as in the mains as well. And one more important thing, land laws of UP. Do pay your attention to those land laws as well, because pre is a screening test. When it comes to mains, you'll grab good marks on this fifth paper of this land laws. So take these three things parallelly. This is how you can prepare for UP.
Okay.
Rest, contents and way of study is same as DJS.
Right. Okay, so I see another question from Diasa Singh. She wants to become a judge. So is it important to do internship? And if yes, what sort of internship?
No, not really. If she is very sorted, yeah, for practical implications, she can go for internships in law. But if she is very sorted that she wants to clear this judicial service examination, then there is no need. It's not important.
Okay, I think Diasa, that answers your queries. Okay, ma'am, if a student wants to prepare for the exam without taking help from coaching centers, is that advisable, or a coaching center is mandatory, to take help?
No, it's not like that. See, what coaching centers do, they just give you a guidance, they just show you a track that this is the thing that you need to do. And then they provide you with the relevant content and study material that you can purchase from market as well. It's not important and mandate over you that only those students can qualify who can, take coachings and all. It's not like that. Refer the relevant books, refer the relevant notes, and that is easily available in the markets and the online platforms. Go with that. And if somewhere you're lacking, like how to prepare, how to appreciate the barracks, so you have various videos over YouTube as well, various platforms. They are providing this free classes wherein they'll teach you how to read the barracks, so you can prepare well in your own as well.
Right. Coming to, ma'am, the state reservations, particularly for DJS. So student wants to know, is state OBC valid for DJS?
Not really.
Okay. And a student wants to know, for CPC book, which writer to be considered for CPC book?
CK Takwani.
Okay, I think that answers for him. Okay. Okay, Nidhi wants to know, ma'am, how can I manage timetable with LLB?
Okay, so when it comes to LLB, try to read the bare acts, or try to read those subjects that you're already reading in your semester. Say, for example, if you're in first, second, third semester, so if you're dealing with family laws, to try to cover that family law in perspective, in terms of this judiciary as well. Don't take parallel 2, 3, 4 subjects. If you're reading family law in your semester exam, then prepare it in from the perspective of judiciary. If you're dealing with major laws in your semester exam, then take it as a judicial preparation as well. This is how you can do, because in that case you're reading your law for the LLB and for your judiciary as well. So when it comes to your semester exams as well, you will be well prepared.
Right. So we have another question from Vartika. Vartika says she's in last semester, and she says that since DGS exam is already out, and hence I'm not eligible right now. So what will be good for me? Should I go for LLM or prepare for judiciary?
You'll get more notifications coming future. It's not the DGS only. There are multiple states who are going to release this exam, like this UP judiciary is lined up, and maybe you'll get this DGS again in coming year. So yes, you can go for judiciary.
Okay, I think Vartika, that answers for you. I'll quickly take another question. Okay, so Preeti says BLLB government college is better, or a private college, which is good?
Every college is better. Like of course you should go for government college, because when it comes to law, your knowledge matters a lot, rather than from which college you did your LLB. So go for a government college.
Okay. So, ma'am, I see another question here where they want to know your experience. So, Dharamjeet is here, wants to know your expertise and your experience and your qualifications about the same.
Okay, so I have done BSc. I'm a zoology. I have done zoology honors, and then I have done this law from Delhi, and then I have done LLM criminology in criminology. So when my experience of judiciary, I have learned in the entire process that as I've shared with you, you should be very limited with your contents. Go for, say for example, take 2 laws. One should be major and one should be minor, right? So go with that bare acts. You should be very good at your bare acts, and read the contents, and then try to form the synopsis of each and every topic. Before you start a subject, go with the previous papers, read the previous papers, questions, mains and pre both. when you know what exactly exam demand of the exam is, you know what to do and what not to or read. Like 40% of the syllabus is relevant for mains and rest of the entire thing is relevant for pre. So you should be, I mean, you should have a synopsis of when it comes to mains. For pre, practice as much as you can. That will give you a perfection, right? But when it comes to mains, have a synopsis of each and every topic. But because you have to appear for an exam wherein you have to give 2 papers in a day, so you won't be getting ample time to read the entire bulky notes. So in a first go, frame your notes. Then in second go, frame your synopsis. It will take time, but it will be very helpful for you in the time of when you appear for the exam. So in my experience, when I had that notes, those bulky notes, I ended up messing with the things because I don't know exactly what to read, how much to read. I had a single day wherein I have to read those major laws. So that at that time I realized ki, okay, fine, I have to frame synopsis wherein, say for example, if you're dealing with a particular topic, so mention the provisions, applied case law, and anything relevant you feel like, any legal maxim or something. So this is how you frame synopsis. This really helps you a lot. And then interview. And one more thing, the day you feel like you want to be a judge, don't procrastinate the things. If you feel like yes, you want to be a judge, then give your 100% to that exam and clear the exam in a very first go. Try to clear that. Don't feel like okay, fine, first I'll appear, then I'll take the experience how this exam is all about, then I'll prepare seriously, then I'll appear. Don't do that, because this experience you can take from the mocks as well. So you don't need any specific exam for this experience. Prepare well and just clear in the very first go.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that detailed answer. And okay, I also see another question from students like Sachi and Shubham. So they want to know, is there any exam to become a judge in other countries apart from India? And Sachi wants to know, doing LLM in foreign is okay, or should we do it in India? So, I mean, I think they want to know about the broad scope about it.
Well, yes. When if it comes to LLM, LLM is entirely different thing. It's a researching field. So if you are doing your LLM from outside India, have a very good scope. After LLM, if you appear for PhD, if you pursue PhD, you can be a very good speaker as well. You can pursue your, you can be a professor, you can be a scholar in India as well as outside the India. So it's a very good thing. I mean, this is how you can, develop your skills and you can expand your career across the globe. You will not be limited to this country only.
Right. Okay. So, since you did mention about your expertise, ma'am, so they want to know which law fields are best. Like, should they go for criminal or should they opt for civil, or which are the best ones?
It depends. It's a very subjective thing. Say, for example, you should know what exactly you people love to do. Say, for example, if I'm good at criminal, I opted for criminal. There might be students who are good at civil. There might be students who are good at constitutional law. There might be students who are good at commercial laws, company laws. So this is very subjective. I can't say what you should go for. You should be knowing what exactly you people are good at. So this is how you should analyze yourself. You should, I can tell you, I can guide you, I can tell you the things that you can do. But you should have your own strategy because every person is different. You can't work over my strategy and you can crack the exam. So this is very subjective. But yeah, more or less, basically, I can say this: ki, people go for this criminal law and constitutional law for the students who are appearing for this judiciary. But if there are students who are specifically wants to go into this corporate sector, they should opt for this commercial law. And for the ones who wants to get into specifically into research wing, then it's fine. It's common. They can get into anything.
Right. Thank you, ma'am, for that answer. Ma'am, also, just asking, is there any cutoff kind of thing for this particular exam?
Yeah, it is. See, when it comes to DJs, its cutoff is very low because this is highly, very, highly conceptual exam. As I told you,
Hmm.
you have to get 60% marks. Minimum 60% marks should be there to get through the exam.
Okay, okay. So I think a lot of you had this question, so
If
we
you are
just try
scoring
to.
somewhere around 140 to 150, you are in a safe zone. You can prepare for mains. And I suggest this one thing: if you are appearing, if you're a serious student, if you're appearing for the exam, try to get marks above the cutoff level, so that you will be very clear. What happens is, if a student is in dilemma, okay, okay, fine, whether I'll get through the exam or not, they'll not start preparing for mains. And when they get the result now, at that time they'll end up, they last with very few time to prepare for the mains. In that case, their mains suffer. So try to grab some good marks in the pre, so that you'll be very clear right from the beginning. Okay, fine, you will be sitting for the mains.
Right. Okay, ma'am. In the chat session, there are a lot of queries coming around about unemployment. You know, they are saying that a lot of people who are doing law, they do not get the proper job or employment opportunities. So that is why a lot of aspiring students are confused, like whether they should go for this, because they are finding a lot of insecurity. So, ma'am, I would request you, please clear this confusion for these students.
See, it's not about law only. It's about every discipline, whether it be law or a medical wing or any wing. So what I would suggest is, be good at whatever you are doing. If you have good skills, if you know, when it comes to law, what people do, they do law. They have a degree, but they don't know what exactly law is. They have no knowledge about law. So if you want to do good at your field, then be good at your discipline as well. If you, it's not about employment and unemployment. You are unemployed, people are unemployed because they have a degree, but they don't have knowledge, right? So it's a very competitive world, whether it be judiciary or a research wing or a scholar wing or anything. So whatever you are doing, be good at it, then for sure you ended up with a good career.
Right. So I think Anushka and all of you who had these questions, I think ma'am has given a very apt answer to that. So uh, please be holding up your knowledge. Please be clear on your concept and the study that you're doing. And I'm sure there will be nothing like as an unemployment thing that you are getting off. So please be very confident about what you're doing. Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. A very common question, another one which I see is which exam is good for law? I mean, they should go for CLAT or IELTS.
Both are good. It depends on what exact. I should say one thing. What I have observed, and I have observed across the time, see, students are not clear with exactly what they want to do. So I
Right.
should suggest, first, be clear what exactly you want to do. Whether you want to get into judicial services, or you want to get into this research wing, or you want to join some law firms, you want to get into corporate sector. This is a very important, crucial thing that you need to decide at the very initial level. Then work for that. It's like IELTS is also good, and this CLAT is also good. But the implication of both the things are different. So you need to decide first what exactly you want to do, and then proceed. Once you proceed, after wasting your 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then if you will decide, then you can get that time back, right? So first decide what exactly you want to do, and then accordingly proceed. In that case, you will be knowing exactly what is the demand of whatever you have decided for.
Right, absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that answer. Okay. Another question that comes from students is, we have already told about a lot of books that you have already mentioned. They are interested in also knowing about particularly books for IPC and Constitution, and also, ma'am, how to remember those laws and acts. That is a very good question from students coming in.
Okay, so here I'll specifically when it comes to book for constitution, see, you can refer two books, DK Jain specifically for law, wherein you'll get this case laws and all, and Lakshmikant. This is the rationality of the laws. Like in Lakshmikant, you will be getting the concept of the questions, like basics of the provisions and basics of the polity and constitution. And in DK Jain, you will be getting the case laws and the recent amendments and everything. It's typically law book. So these two books are good for constitution. And for IPC, this Ratanlal Dheeraj Lal, it's a very good book. And the rest, these two books are they have asked for, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes.
when it comes to remembering, so I will suggest my strategy. What you do when it comes to Bear Act, you frame the flow charts of the provisions. Say, for example, if you're doing the CRPC, whatever law you are doing. So what you do is take a topic and prepare a flow chart of the entire provisions. So you're having explanations, provisions in that. To just jot down the things in that flow chart, and in that flow chart only add the things, like if there is any case law, so add that case law there. If there is any legal maxim attached to it, add that thing there. If you feel like any amendment has been done or anything is there, so in that flowchart only add the thing. So that in certainly that flowcharts ended up with your synopsis. This will help you, and just read that flowcharts again and again and again. So you will be ended up remembering the entire Breyer Acts for sure. I'll guarantee you.
Right. Okay. Sachi wants to know, is there any app or software where they get all the articles and law? I mean, it's handy for them. Is there something like that?
Articles for law. I mean,
they want to get like handy about all articles and law for constitution. So is there any software or
Constitution, yeah, you can have this BearX, online BearX, soft copy of BearX is there. You can have that, and you can have PDFs as well. You can have this lectures as well. Everything is there available on this platform. So it's, you can download it from Google as well. There are various academies that they are providing you with the lectures and the PDFs and all. So all these things are there.
Okay, so moving to my last question from Shikita. Any book recommended for recent or landmark judgment or any online platform is enough?
No, I can say this one thing. Well, if you can research well, if you're good at your researching skills, so yes, you can go for online platform. But I would not suggest that because you don't have that time. So there is no need to waste your time. You have many books, you can search it over Google. So therein you'll get many books for this recent judgment. But I can suggest this Tarun Chautani books is there. It's a book, it's a compilation of all the recent judgments along with the specific case laws of specific subjects. It's a compilation, so you can refer that as well. It's a very good book.
All right, so I think all of you have made a good note of all the books, all the articles, all the resources that ma'am has mentioned here. So please, this webinar was intended to help you out with all the possible things that we could for this judiciary exams, because these are a different kind of different on a different level, and we do have very few sessions and webinars on these. So I just wanted to get hold of the importance and help you guide for this exam. If you are interested in preparing for judiciary exams, so not everyone can guide you. So Shiksha has just thought of getting hold of experts who could help you and guide you. But if any queries are left, or if you want to ask anything, I have dropped a link over here, so you can drop your queries and I will try to connect you with my panelists, with my experts who will be there to answer your queries. So please do not worry. If you have any doubts or queries left, you can always come up to this website link and discuss with us. Okay, Sachi, I think we have taken your question. Okay, Sachi's last questions. She's requesting, ma'am, she wants to know website best for latest updates on law and constitution.
Sorry?
Last question is, which website is best for latest updates on law and constitution?
See, there are many certain websites like PIB. It's a press information bureau. You can go for that. And but over that, I suggest this Live Law. It's a very good platform wherein you will get all the updates related to all the laws.
Okay, so I think Sachi, you got your answer and you're most welcome for this. And before we wrap up for today's session, ma'am, one last piece of advice for all the aspiring students.
Well, whenever you prepare for any competitive exam, it's not just an exam, it's a journey. So I would say this one thing, you will, realize, or you will feel a change in you when you ended up with your entire preparation. So I would suggest is believe in yourself. Don't seek for approvals from the people. If you believe that you can be a judge, you will be a judge for sure. So don't give up. Be persistent. That is the only thing required.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am, for all the valuable information and guidance that you have shared, your personal experiences. And I think that has really helped all of them. And I'm happy we could, get hold of their questions. And I think we could answer their queries and help them and guide them for all their matters. So I really hope it works for all of you. But yes, for any information ahead, you can always connect with us on shiksha.com. And thank you all of you for joining here on this webinar, and thank you, ma'am, for your valuable time.
Thank you so much. Yeah.